We visited one of the most breathtaking locations on Istanbul's Bosphorus, the iconic Rumeli Fortress. While uncovering the stories behind this important location's history, we mentioned Mehmet the Conqueror, who built this fortress. And now, we'll be cooking one of his favorite dishes, right here in the Rumeli Fortress. The dish we'll be cooking today is called Mutancana. It's a lamb stew flavored with dried fruits, almonds, and honey. So the first thing I'm gonna do is saute our lamb. I'll just let the pan heat up for a minute or two to get some nice color on the meat. This video was filmed at a distance that does not pose a risk to any cultural properties. Instead of the flavorings used in modern Turkish cooking like peppers and tomatoes, in the Ottoman times they didn't have those ingredients, so they used things like dried fruits and spices to flavor their food. This dish also includes some pearl onions, so I'm just gonna get started peeling those just until our pan heats up. Onions are an integral part of almost every dish across the planet, and it adds a nice savory flavor to balance the sweetness of the dried fruit. Now that our pan is nice and hot, I can add the lamb, just using a little bit of olive oil. In Ottoman times, the most popular cooking fat was actually butter, but today I'll be using olive oil, which is also traditional. When you hear that sound, you know your meat is gonna be good. Nice and hot. So while my meat cooks, in a separate pan, I'm gonna add my apricots, figs, and almonds. I'll just chop the dried fruits roughly. This dish uses a variety of dried fruits. I have figs, apricots, raisins, and dried plums. So I just added a little water to my pan, and now I can add my dried fruits. In addition to the chopped apricots and figs, I'll also add my almonds to the second pan. Now that my meat has browned a little bit, I'm gonna add the pearl onions. And now I'll add my dried plums and raisins into the meat. And some honey for some extra sweetness. And a little water. So this recipe is interesting in that it uses two different techniques to cook the dried fruits. Some are added into the meat and stewed together with it, and in a separate pan, I saute the rest. And the last thing I'll be adding to this stew is sumac, which is gonna give it a nice sour flavor. So this dish really is a combination of sweet, sour, and savory. Just a pinch or two is enough. I'll also